Hello, and welcome back to Isti, Ark of Nepishtim, where I first noticed that Adol sprite blinks, and things have gotten pretty serious. This is the first time I think we've seen the Romans actually invade a place. And things are looking pretty trashed and no one's here. Except this guy. Yeah, you're just a merchant. Wait a minute, why'd I select shop? He doesn't have anything I want yet. So is there anyone still here? Oh, Jesus! The Romans messed him up pretty good. Yeah. The thing about the Romans is that up until this point in the series, the Romans were basically just one of those generic evil empire fantasy countries that you see all over JRPGs, especially in Final Fantasy. Well, at least he didn't say, "It's nothing," or anything like that. Hey, Robbo, what's up? For what? Yeah, Adol can't always rely on a healer to give him reses. He needs to take care of those things on his own. So the Reda have been captured, so it's time to make a run over to Port Remorge. I don't actually cut out the running over there this time around because it's not a particularly long distance. Plus, there are actually Romans to talk to outside of the town. Sorry, but there's even less reason to fight you dudes than there was before. Don't worry though, there will be plenty of fighting. The Romans do not give up anything without being stabbed. Hey guys, been a while. Commander must be a pretty badass dude then. Subhumans? Is that how the Roman Empire classifies that sort of thing? Note to self, tread the jeweled throne of Ram under sandals. Addendum, acquire sandals. Tell me what you know. Oh dear. Ha! Looks like Agu managed to give him the slip. we'll be figuring that out later. But first we need to kick out some Romans. That's right. These Romans also do the whole slave thing. But they left Liev alone. So, apparently they left her alone because she's a half-breed. Okay, so they did take Olha and Isha to the ships. Okay, after some deeply unpleasant and even disturbing conversations with the Romans, let's see if Baslam has any ideas. Yeah, one thing about Altago is that Altago is basically the East universe's Carthage, and in East 7 there's actually mention of a short war between Altago and Rom. However, apparently in the East universe, Rom wasn't able to actually defeat the Altaginian fleet in the Meadow Sea, so it's still an independent city-state. Yeah, there are a lot of Romans. Yeah, you don't even need an excuse. Romans will just banquet... Yeah, Romans will just banquet whenever they feel like it. You're good at stabbing, Adol. You're perfect for doing a rescue. In case... It turns out that the Defeat the Romans sequence is longer than I had originally thought it was, so that's the reason this video is longer than most. We won't be meeting Ernst right away. Soon, though. Hey, that's no way to talk about your lady friend. Well, too bad for you, then. Funny story about that. One of the earliest written records of the flag commonly known as the Jolly Roger was actually written by someone in a town that was being attacked by pirates from the land side. Plus, raiding certain small towns and other settlements is something that historical pirates tended to do. It wasn't just all on the high seas. Okay, Adol, this is a sneaking mission. Let's split up, gang! Okay, we will have to do a pretty thorough look around on both of these ships. The thing is, there are 4 treasure chests that we can unlock later, but only one of them actually has something we want. Yeah, it's downstairs here. One of them has an accessory and the rest just have gold, which is pretty easy to come by at this point in the game. Boom! Yeah, those Romans used spears, which were kinda like the bugs with the extending feelers in the Limewater Cave. While they don't do much damage to Adol, especially at this point, they are very annoying for another sequence that will come fairly soon. Haha, the Ibor gang. Why aren't they in this game? Oh right, 'cause East 5 was a failure. Okay, slave trading. I'm gonna keep this in mind for something later. I mean, you guys don't have weapons or armor or anything. Even though most of the Romans have abandoned the place, there are at least still a couple of soldiers around. Okay, I can understand stupid guards, but stupid admirals? Ernst is probably the brains of this whole thing. You know, if they'd continued extending the parallels of Rom with Rome, I'm willing to bet that in some other games it would turn out that Admiral Agaris was some kind of senator or something. Now for ship number 2. This is just to make sure of something. Okay, that's the chest I'm going to want to open later. Oh, believe it. If they're following the parallels, believe it. Okay, gonna save here. You got the worst cage, Olha. It's a battle frog! Okay, Rana Luna is why I upgraded Eriso. Not because it does a particularly huge amount of damage or its magic is all that useful, but it's because of its special attack. Its lightning charge does huge damage to Rana Luna, and can usually get at least 120 per charge, and possibly about 180 if you've been upgrading it like I have. There's also the fact that I've equipped the Lucky Coin, which will give me some pretty nasty crits on this boss. However, Rana Luna does huge damage, like around 90 a pop with most of its attacks. Even equipping the heavy belt and such wouldn't actually do much to help me here. Oh yeah, and it cloaks too. You can't see it due to the whole, predator-like light distortions thing. And also the goo it spits out actually still does damage for a while after it lands. Ow. So it is a highly damaging boss, but you can do an extreme amount of damage to it yourself. It's probably the one boss that I very specifically stock up on healing items for. Because a single error will do some very, very nasty things to you. We're basically in Oath and Felghana territory here. It is possible to just avoid its tongue attack by standing close to it because it always lashes far away. Other than that, though, it's just looking for opportunities to do the lightning charge, which is done by mashing the attack button with the Aerosol. And down she goes. Why do I say she? Well, you're gonna see that pretty soon. Oh, you'll figure something out. Oh, Jesus. Well, everyone has terrible days. Especially if you're not at all in Ys. Terra, this is not the time for that! There's no time for that either. Looks like he's back right the hell now. Well, yes, apparently. Wait, that's your darling Elizabeth? Man, I miss it when you guys were just evil. Now this is awkward and weird. You know what? Forget it. These Romans are crazy. And Geis has showed up to save the day? Davis! And besides, Isha isn't even here. Okay, first off, we need the Admiral's key. Second off, double escort mission. I understand why Olha doesn't have her bow or anything, but Terra has no weapons, and she is a pirate! She kidnaps and ravages and doesn't give a hoot. In East 5, she knocked out 2 Caphinian soldiers with a single sling stone. Where's your combat prowess? Where did it go? Okay, so in this chest is something very important to me. The Starlight Medal. It boosts your experience intake. It doesn't give us anything particularly significant now, but I will need it for a couple of other optional things later. And the Roman pushed me upstairs. Now, Olha and Terra don't actually regenerate health. However, any healing item you use will actually heal both Olha and Terra, so it's not actually that difficult to keep the both of them alive. There are 3 other chests, and all of them contain about 10,000 gold, but I don't really need that, and I don't want to run out of healing items and find myself getting swamped. So I'm just gonna go off and leave the ships. Besides, searching for those chests would make this video even longer. Yeah, speaking of Captain Laddock, and this is Ernst. Oh dear. As much as I'd love to talk about Ernst now, the game actually covers a lot of it pretty well. So I'm going to talk about how it ties into the rest of the series from there. But as you may have gathered, Ernst is the Great One, the Great Master, and whatever all else that the fairies follow. Finally, someone who respects our reputation that's not Dogi or some other friend. Speaking of... Ha! All of Dogi's life was probably leading up to that line. You might call them punch drunk! So long as you're trying to make puns there, Dogi. Well, I know that Dogi is not Soda Popinski, so... Gah? Oh, Dogi, what would the East World be without you? Dude! Desecratious! We have a title, ladies and gentlemen! You know what, this just isn't a good game to be a ship in. No, we appreciate the effort, Dogi. That's actually an extremely good question, Tara. More than you even know. Okay, let's see what our council has to say. Well, at least there's a silver lining to this whole thing. Well, Adal, you're the only adventurer in the quadrant who can handle this emergency. So, that's it for the Roman invasion, but there's still quite a bit of cleanup we have to do before we move forward. See you then, and until then, bye.